Wrestling. My name is Bill McCollough, and I invite you to join me for the next hour of the finest in professional wrestling. Well, the action has already started, and we're not even underway, so let's do the introductions more formally. Introducing at 232 pounds, coming from Havana, Cuba, the eighth wonder of the world, the Cuban Assassin. And his opponent today, introducing at 230 pounds, coming from Columbia, South Carolina, Sergeant Ryan O'Connor. And the referee for this match is Ron Goguen. Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. The Cuban Assassin and Sergeant Ryan O'Connor start our matches off today in fine fashion, as the young man from Columbia, South Carolina, takes on the eighth wonder of the world, the Cuban Assassin. Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, presenting the finest in professional wrestling, and you're getting a good close-up shot there of the action. There's a nice reversal by Sergeant Ryan O'Connor as he starts flailing away on the person of the eighth wonder of the world, the Cuban Assassin, and he chases him outside the ring. The Cuban Assassin figures it's probably safer inside the ring, and now we've got the ring all broken. I tell you, these guys have been going some hard. As we've got the ring all split, the middle rope has broken on the ring. And that just shows you the way that these fellas are hitting those turnbuckles and snap that chain. I'm not sure what you would call that in the terms of chain. But you can imagine the pressure that's put on it, so you can tell the type of chain it is. And, well, these guys just... It's, I guess, the second time in 3 or 4 weeks now that we've had the chain broken. We'll get some repairs underway, and we'll be all set while the match continues. Sergeant Ryan O'Connor. That's a name you're going to remember. O'Connor, of course, a very famous name in the world of professional wrestling. Not only in professional wrestling as well, many other circles. But in professional wrestling, the name O'Connor certainly sticks out in everyone's mind. Irish Pat O'Connor. This young man is Sergeant Ryan O'Connor, a man that you're going to hear a lot from, as he takes on the Cuban Assassin, who's looking for a handshake. He wants to start things off in a little better tone, but O'Connor's not going to fall for that. Not going to participate in that. As he got a nice reversal into twisting armbar. Opening match action, today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Some of the tactics of the Cuban Assassin left open for discussion. You saw one of them there. The hair pull and shot to the throat by the Cuban Assassin on the person of Ryan O'Connor. You see fans over on the other side claiming some kind of foreign object was used, and we're joined at the interview table by the European heavyweight wrestling champion, killer Karl Krupp.
As you notice, Mr. McClocklock, there is an immediate improvement in the Cuban Assassin since he signed up with the Germans. He knows which side his blood is better on. The man is ready. He is ready because he has the superior entrance into a superior group of people, namely Mr. Hunt, Herman, and myself, Killer Karl Krupp, the European champion. And look at the man.
Okay, we'll take a good look at, we'll see the action in the ring. Hans Herman and killer Karl Krupp, now joined by none other than the Cuban Assassin. And that makes a devastating trio. Oh, Sergeant Ryan Pepper caught coming off the ropes. 1, 2, and 3. The Cuban assassin showing his experience, catching Ryan O'Connor coming off the rope in almost a clothesline type. And you could just see the whip of his neck as he was whipped to the canvas. He's still flat out. Well, the winner of this match, at 4 minutes, 17 seconds, the Cuban assassin, the 8th wonder of the world. We're back with more professional wrestling on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. Limit. The reception accorded these two is, I guess, anticipated. So now everybody's in the ring. Let's do the introductions. Introducing at 270 pounds, coming from East Germany, Hans Herman, and his tag team partner, the European heavyweight wrestling champion, Killer Karl Krupp. His opponent today, introducing at 215 pounds, coming from Winnipeg, Chris Pepper. And a warm reception accorded. Young man from Winnipeg, Chris Pepper, who has a big job in his hands in this match against the one half of that devastating tag team, the Germans, the unification of East and West Germany, Hans Herman. And look at this Chris Pepper moving. Well, Hans Herman is going out and reevaluate the situation, see what's happening, and a consultation with his tag team partner, Killer Karl Krupp. Hans Herman looking for a handshake, wanting to get things underway in a different fashion, but Chris Pepper says, no way, Jose. And Chris Pepper doing quite a job, pounding away on the arms and shoulder of Hans Herman. And Herman still wearing the cast, you see, on his left arm, left hand particularly. Wear for the matches that he's been involved in. We've seen that cast also come into play in some previous matches. We'll see if it comes into play in this match on today's card. Chris Pepper making his return to the Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling circuit, and nice hangs on and keeps that armbar and continues to apply punishment to the left arm of Hans Herman from East Germany. As Killer Karl Krupp, his partner, says the unification of East and West Germany. Killer Karl Krupp, a study in intensity as he watches closely the results of this match between his tag team partner, to your left, Hans Herman, and with his back to you, Chris Pepper. Chris Pepper giving away quite a few inches in height and a few pounds, but again showing you that professional wrestlers are capable. Look at that nice reversal by Chris Pepper. Elbow drop, another one. Using the ropes and really piling it in on Hans Herman, but Herman's leg on the ropes, and he gets a break. Chris Pepper says, okay, I'll break it up. And goes right back into that armbar. Chris Pepper from Winnipeg against Hans Herman in this match of today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Killer Karl Krupp urging his tag team partner on. You see the kind of pressure that Hans Herman is taking from Chris Pepper on that left arm. Chris Pepper going to use his legs now to get some more pressure, and look, just about turns Hans Herman right over. Just using the pressure of his leg and foot on that left arm. One more, Chris Pepper says. The fan said, yes, of course. We agree. Killer Karl Krupp now starts to pace back and forth in the corner. He's a bit concerned at the actions of this young man, Chris Pepper, over his tag team partner, Hans Herman. Chris Pepper really having things pretty much his own way. The opening 3.5, 4 minutes of this match, today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Hans Herman is also showing some disgust and concern. And down goes Hans Herman again at the hands of Chris Pepper. Killer Karl Krupp studies very intently what is happening in the ring. Not able to answer that question himself, and now starts to pace. Rather concerned. The ropes broke that one up. Oh, nice takedown by Chris Pepper. He's also keeping a very close eye on Killer Karl Krupp to make sure that he doesn't interfere in this match. Hans Herman has had some problems against Chris Pepper. Pepper's been working on that left arm. He's really been concentrating on it, but you see Hans Herman now starting to pound away on the person of Chris Pepper, using his weight and height advantage, going for a pin, 1, 2, and Chris Pepper's able to kick out. You see Hans Herman shaking his left arm, and Chris Pepper pounds away on the left arm of Hans Herman, and again continues and drives him right into the turnbuckle. He's really starting to work hard. Of course, we've said many times before, great professional wrestlers, they'll work on one part of the body. Chris Pepper may be knowing something that there may be some weakness in that left hand and wrist of Hans Herman, where he's got the cast on it. May figure that's the weakest point in the physique of Hans Herman, and Chris Pepper continues to work on it. That does not hurt. With that cast, Chris Pepper, I think, got the message very clearly that it doesn't hurt when you pound it on the hand. That cast apparently is very protective of his hand. Chris Pepper will look for some other ways of inflicting more punishment on the left arm of Hans Herman. Whip off the rope, shoulder tackle, and down goes Herman. And again, 1, 2, down. And Hans Herman was able to hang on. And he's got the armbar on Chris Pepper. And he starts to work on the left arm of Chris Pepper. Chris Pepper giving away a few pounds to this Hans Herman and quite a few inches, but again, proving that size is not the only criteria in professional wrestling. If you know what you're doing, you can turn size against the individual, as Chris Pepper has shown us here today. And Chris Pepper getting a nice kick out and a chop across the throat of Hans Herman from East Germany, one half of that German tag team of Hans Herman and Killer Karl Krupp. Hans Herman working on the left leg of Chris Pepper, apparently knowing something that Chris Pepper may have an injury there, why he's wearing the protective knee pad. And Hans Herman takes the pad off completely, starts working on that left knee. Hans Herman working on the left knee of Chris Pepper. Of course, these wrestlers get to know what injuries other wrestlers may have. Look out. He's not there, Hans Herman. Chris Pepper has left. This one's getting right down to the short strokes. Both wrestlers on their knees, pounding away on the ring mat. Whip off the ropes and look out, Hans Herman. Oh. Chris Pepper trying for a maneuver off the ropes, and no, Hans Herman does not. He may have had a fall there, but he does not allow it to go the full 3. He's going to inflict more punishment on his opponent in the person of Chris Pepper. 1, 2, 3. And, showing some contempt for his opponent. Hans Herman, not even going for the full body press. Just there's their hands raised in victory. The German march in victory, and there's the symbol. And, of course, well, there they go. Hans and Killer Karl Krupp, the victor in this match. We'll be back with more professional wrestling in just a moment. I'm Lemay. And Mr. Bass is being accorded his usual reception. The manager of the International Heavyweight Champion, Robert Joseph Bass III. Just watch that game. Introducing at 246 pounds, coming from parts unknown, the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Super Destroyer. And his opponent today at 242 pounds, coming from Atlanta, Georgia, T.G. Stone. The referee for this match is Ron Goguen. Okay, Mr. Bass has been instructed to leave the ring. And we're underway with T.G. Stone. Multi-tattooed T.G. Stone in against the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Super Destroyer. And Mr. Bass having a discussion with the fans, and needless to say, it's not a very friendly discussion. T.G. Stone, his opportunity to get some of his own back, and, didn't take advantage of it, that opportunity. Time will tell whether he should have taken advantage of an opportunity or not. A nice arm drag by the Super Destroyer. And I'll tell you, you can see, as you continue to watch from week to week, the International Heavyweight Champion working, whether you like his tactics or not, you can understand how he became the International Heavyweight Champion. But T.G. Stone has no respect for the International Heavyweight Champion and shows his contempt. T.G. Stone with the armbar, and referee is claiming hair pull or mask or something. I'm not sure what. Super Destroyer is claiming that he pulled his hair or his mask or something to gain that hold, and the referee broke it up. Of course, from the referee's standpoint, you have to have eyes in the back of your head with Mr. Bass hanging around outside. You never know when he might inadvertently or otherwise interfere in the match. Even by walking around the outside, he draws the attention of the referee away from the activity sometimes. T.G. Stone off the ropes, but into a body slam by the Super Destroyer, and arm drag takedown. As the Super Destroyer, Mr. Bass is claiming mask or hair. Referee Ron Goguen not going to allow that one this time. T.G. Stone into an armbar. And the fans getting on. Robert Joseph Bass III. They're not very impressed by his managerial abilities. Giving him no respect at all, which Mr. Bass is looking for.
You see that, Bill McCollough? Always pulling a mask. He can't fight fair.
And you heard it. You heard it from Mr. Bass talking about fighting fair. T.G. Stone working over the Super Destroyer, International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, with his manager, Robert Joseph Bass III. Mr. Bass is rather dejected these days. Krupp showing some of his dejection, losing the Cuban assassin in his stable, losing the contract for managing to the Germans, killer Karl Krupp and Hans Herman. Mr. Bass is not very impressed by all of that. Ah, nice reversal. T.G. Stone keeping his eye on Mr. Bass, as one must always. And I guess you could see for yourself the results of that discussion that Mr. Bass had with the referee. It allowed the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion to get the advantage going his way, and now he's ripped off the adhesive on the head of T.G. Stone, and he's turned things right around here from his own way. We've reached the 5-minute mark of this match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. T.G. Stone, the multi-tattooed T.G. from Atlanta, Georgia, in against the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, the Super Destroyer, who's up and down. Straight on the head of T.G. Stone. 1, 2, and T.G. is able to twist out. I'll tell you, I don't know how he came out of that one. I really don't know. I thought he was nailed. I think the Super Destroyer thought the same thing. If he didn't go for a full body press, he just... Super Destroyer trying to... checking for reaction from T.G. Stone. T.G. now trying to kick out Bobby Bass. And T.G. Stone pounds his way out as he flattens the Super Destroyer. Look out, Destroyer. Up and over and into a pin goes 1, 2, and that's all. Oh, that was close. That was close. Well, the fans are calling for a chokehold. You get a close-up look here. While Mr. Bass was attempting to interfere. Get a good close look there. It doesn't look like a chokehold, at least according to referee Ron Goguen. T.G. Stone suffering at the hands of the Super Destroyer. Meanwhile, Bobby Bass uses the cane to deck T.G. Stone. And again, this has got to be stopped. This is just 1, 2. His foot is over the rope. This interference has got to be stopped. The interference by Bobby Bass in these matches has just got to be stopped. That's all. This cannot continue. Fans are hollering for Malumba to see if he can straighten out Mr. Bass. 1, 2, and a kick out by T.G. Stone. Out onto the studio floor goes T.G. Stone. And I guess we're going to move this match out to the studio floor. And the wall, and look out! T.G. Stone is able to get out. And the deal that Bass and the Super Destroyer had between them backfired. And it was the Super Destroyer that took the punishment. T.G. Stone, beautiful uppercut. Off the ropes, the Super Destroyer able to catch T.G. Stone unawares for a moment. And now looking at a suplex into the turnbuckle. And down goes T.G. Stone. We haven't seen him do that one for a while. Suplex into the turnbuckle, and that will really straighten you out. Up and over goes T.G. Stone. Shoulder tackle off the rope. Super Destroyer down. 1, 2, 3. Up and up. Breaker off the ropes. 1, 2, and 3. And the fans are calling for tights. He was using his trunk to hold him down for that. And down goes T.G. Stone, courtesy of Mr. Bass and the cane. That interference has just got to stop in these matches. Bobby Bass is getting away with that too often. At 9:47, the winner of the match is the Super Destroyer and his manager, no class, Bobby Bass. We'll be back with more professional wrestling here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling in just a moment. As you can see, it's tag team action. The duo from San Francisco introducing at 242 pounds, coming from San Francisco, Mike Steele. And his tag team partner, also from San Francisco, at 255 pounds, Lenny Montana. And their opponents today, introducing at 242 pounds, coming from Toronto, Ronnie Ritchie. And his tag team partner at 236 pounds, coming from New Orleans, Ron Starr. And the referee is Bernie Richard. Tag team action on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and as we've indicated to you before, this tag team of Ronnie Ritchie and Ron Starr, the two Rons, wow, that is something else. Ron Ritchie and Ron Starr. Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, the finest in professional wrestling. Anywhere, look out. Oh, there's some of the maneuvers that make that man one of the top names in professional wrestling today, Ron Starr. Lenny Montana understands now very clearly, if he didn't before, what makes Ron Starr one of the top professional wrestlers in the world today. Tag, and in comes Ron Ritchie. Well, not yet. There he is. He's in now. In with a bang. And that the result of the bang was Lenny Montana, look out. Lenny Montana, good night, Irene. But no, this Montana's a tough customer. He's a pro all the way. And, of course, has proven to be quite a handful for many of the top wrestlers that you've seen here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling and in circuits around the world. He's tagged up, and in comes Mike Steele. And, of course, Mike Steele is certainly no slouch in his own right. Just able to handle himself in just about any circle. But having his problems as those shoulder tackles off the ropes, up and over goes Ronnie Rich, and that will stunt your growth. Look out! Mike Steele, no. Lenny Montana does not want to tag. And we see some dissension in the ranks. And a clothesline waiting for Mike Steele. Ron Starr now in for their team, and Big Elbow waiting for Mike Steele, and he's taking a lot of punishment. 1, 2. Mike Steele able to kick out at the last minute, and Lenny Montana making sure. Another pin attempt. 1, 2, and Mike Steele able to twist out. Tremendous action here on this card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. This match, tag team action. We've got Ron Starr and Ron Rich, the two Ronnies, against Lenny Montana and Mike Steele. There's the tag, and in comes Ronnie Rich. Oh! And that's how you get cauliflower ears. A backflip and a press attempt. 1, but he's got the ropes, and Lenny Montana comes in to make sure. The tag, double whip, and a double drop kick on Mike Steele, administered by Ron Rich and Ron Starr. And here's Ron Starr with a suplex on Mike Steele. They're going for the pin. They've got one. And Lenny Montana is able to get that one broken up. Mike Steele, who was looking for a tag a few minutes ago from his partner, Lenny Montana, has taken a lot of heat in this match on behalf of the team of Montana and Steele, and he's still taking it. A double whip, and what's waiting for him this time? Oh, we've got the double elbows. You never know with these guys what you're going to get. They come up, beautiful tag team work with this Ron Rich and Ron Starr. Guess what I have for you, Mike Steele, said Ronnie Starr. A big right hand. Body slam, and I'll tell you, this Mike Steele has taken a lot of the heat. And now we've got a tag, and this time Lenny Montana is going to come in. And they've been waiting for him. An irate, and Lenny Montana is able to turn it around on Ronnie Rich. Lenny Montana, who was rather reluctant to come into the fray just a little while ago, now in and doing quite well, thank you. Using the ropes across the throat of Ronnie Rich, and then whips him right to the canvas with the ropes. And here comes Mike Steele in. They're going to do some double teaming of their own. Mike Steele able to gather his senses back again, and we have he and Ronnie Rich on a Pier Sixer. And it's Mike Steele who went to the canvas, but he's back up. I'll tell you, this match has had more ups and downs. Everybody getting on top one time or another, and out of the way goes Mike Steele. And And there's a knee waiting for you, and in comes Ron Starr. Tremendous action here on this card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. It's beautiful drop kick. Oh, I'll tell you, Starr was up among the stars on that one. Woo. Ron Starr drop kick Mike Steele, and I'll tell you, whoa. We have flying high Ron Starr and Ron Rich against Lenny Montana and Mike Steele, and no class Bobby Bass is here, and he's concerned. He's watching the action, and that's one of the few times in his life I haven't heard him say too awfully much.
I'm watching out Ron Starr. Very, very cautious of Ron Starr. I don't keep my eye on too many people, you know that.
Yep.
I'll keep my eye on that boy.
Now, you keep your eye. You've got a lot of time to spend looking at this man.
I still said, I told you last week, 2-time junior heavyweight champion of the world. I'm keeping my eye. I just want to tell you right now, Bill, whoever Ron Starr's going to be, I'm going to have an eye on him.
Well, you better have an eye on him, because this tag team, I'll tell you, Ron Starr and Ron Rich, 1, 2. That's all. Mike Steele in to break it up. And Ron Rich didn't have time to quite turn around and get out of the way, because Lenny Montana was there with an eye rake. Now choking. Whip off the rope. Bent over goes Ron Rich.
Rich couldn't get the job done himself, so he brought on Starr. I got my eye on him. Don't worry about that.
Oh, you just keep your eye on him.
And I hate the word, when you say afraid. We're not afraid, but very cautious.
Yeah, cautious, afraid. Yeah. Call it what you will. Yeah. Mr. Bass looking very carefully at this Ron Starr. But we're looking at Ron Rich decking Mike Steele. Woo! I'll tell you, the action is fast and furious. Ron Starr whipping Mike Steele off, and look at that flying knee on the person of Mike Steele. A whip, and up comes, look out, 1, 2, 3. Look out, Lenny Montana. I'll tell you, this tag team of Ron Starr and Ronnie Rich, you sort of get tied up and just watch the beauty of these guys work, and they work great as a tag team. There they are outside, victorious in this tag team match against Lenny Montana and Mike Steele. We're back with more professional wrestling on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Well, you can hear the reception accorded this man, so let's now do the formal introduction. Introducing at 242 pounds, coming from Greenwich Village, Mr. Irresistible, Sweet Daddy Siki. Accompanied by Lenny Montana. And his opponent today, at 228 pounds, coming from Beverly Hills, California, Buddy Lane. While Sweet Daddy Siki admires himself in the mirrors, assisted by Lenny Montana, we get ready to go to our Most Falls to Curfew match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and another super card, action-packed card we've had here today. I'll tell you, fans, this is the finest in professional wrestling you're going to see anywhere right here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. And we'd like to say before we conclude our program today that a very special hello to our sick and shut-ins, those who are unable to get to an arena to see these great matches that take place there. Well, we'd like to say hello. Hope things are going better for you, and we're awfully pleased to be able to bring you these programs into your home each and every week because, well, we know how much they're appreciated from the letters that we receive here at Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling each and every week. So thank you for the letters, and we're pleased to be able to bring you these programs weekly. The finest in professional wrestling right here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Well, it looks like Sweet Daddy Siki. Yeah, he's quite pleased with himself. Okay, he's all set. He says thank you, and He's all set for action against the young man from Beverly Hills, California, Buddy Lane. This should be a tremendous match. We've got the crisscross going. Down goes Buddy Lane, and up and over goes Sweet Daddy Siki. Down he goes again at a flying arm drag. Headlock takedown. We've got action moving around here pretty swiftly as we've got Buddy Lane and Sweet Daddy Siki. A little bit of help from the trunks, and Sweet Daddy Siki trying for a pin attempt on Buddy Lane. Most falls to curfew action on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Buddy Lane from the money area of Beverly Hills, California. We have 5 minutes left in our time on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Looking forward to a good match here. This should be a good one. 5 minutes of professional wrestling here. This should be, we're going to watch this one very carefully. Sweet Daddy Siki, of course, is just a legend in his own time. Mr. Irresistible. Yes, sir. The sweet man, Sweet Daddy Siki, he's done it all. And he continues to do it all. Buddy Lane, young man who has done a lot and wants to do a whole lot more. And a whole lot more would be to get a big victory here over Sweet Daddy Siki. Takedown, and yet the sweet man holds on. Sweet Daddy Siki hangs on to that armbar. And quite pleased with himself, as you can hear. 4 minutes left on this match of today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. 4 minutes left. Sweet Daddy Siki and Buddy Lane. Most falls to curfew match, and when you consider 4 minutes left, well, you have to consider that a fall any time in that 4 minutes will be very critical. Sweet Daddy Siki able to get Buddy Lane into the corner and got a break and immediately takes advantage of it. Not beyond Sweet Daddy Siki to take advantage of any situation that may present itself. Buddy Lane trying to get back to his feet. And immediately receives a right hand to the chin, 2 of them by Sweet Daddy Siki. And a pin attempt, 1-2, and a kick out by Buddy Lane. We've got 3 minutes left in our most falls to curfew match on today's card of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. 3 minutes left in our time. It features Sweet Daddy Siki, Mr. Irresistible, against Buddy Lane. Buddy Lane working that armbar on Sweet Daddy Siki. A good match to watch. Sweet Daddy Siki, Buddy Lane. Oh, look at that flying elbow by Buddy Lane. Using the ropes to get that extra leverage on his elbow, and he's able to flatten Sweet Daddy Siki. Whip toss into the turnbuckle, shoulder tackle. Buddy Lane. Oh, a nice reversal by Buddy Lane into Sweet Daddy Siki, and look out. Sweet Daddy Siki, presence of mind to move out of the way, and there goes Buddy Lane into the ring post. That's a backbreaker. He's got 1, 2, and 3. That's it. That is it. Sweet Daddy Siki, and you can see how quick it turns around in these matches. We've only got 1 minute left in our time. You can see how quick it'll turn around. Buddy Lane going for a good shot. He may have had a chance of getting that pin attempt himself, But when he went for Sweet Daddy Siki, there was no Sweet Daddy Siki there, and he nailed that ring post hard. Of course, Sweet Daddy Siki taking advantage of that and putting the neck breaker on, and that's it. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this match, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. It looks like Buddy Lane is injured, so we're... Oh, sweet embrace there in the studio floor. We'll be back. Wrap up our program in just a moment. Professional wrestling is right here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and I think we have seen the likes of Ron Starr and Ron Ritchie. I'll tell you, there's a tag team that is just superb, and I guess the cautious words that you hear from Bobby Bass about this guy, Ron Starr, well, that indicates some of the heat that's been in the kitchen here on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. See it when it comes to an arena near you.